Hello, and welcome to the Bald and the Beardiful. I'm Bryce,
I'm Chris,
and I'm bald.
and I am beautiful.
Welcome to quarantine day 2 for the cast. But I mean, what is it, day like 500 now in real time?
Real time. Day 500. It's 28 days later, didn't you know?
Oh yeah, we're all gonna die by vampires, or is that something else?
No, 28 days later is a zombie movie. It's like a mutated, some sort of mutated virus that
Which
like,
one was there's one like 28 or 28 nights, 28
no,
days and nights or something
isn't it
that says
30?
that
It's 30 days of night.
30 days of night. Okay,
Yeah, it's about Barrow, Alaska.
yeah,
Or it
right.
takes place in Barrow, Alaska, where like, yeah,
Oh,
where
though, and the one you don't want to get that confused with is 30 Days and 30 Nights, which is the Lent movie about the guy who gives up anything. Yeah,
yeah, he gives up sex for Lent. Basically,
but not, not
anything.
not not even just sex, just anything. Like it was,
Yeah.
yeah, no self help, no nothing.
Also, both movies are starring Josh Hartnett.
Okay, we in less than a minute, we've already successfully turned a zombie movie into a vampire movie into a movie about sex and and self
A
help.
rom com. It's a rom com. Like let's get it right. I can say that because married.
Yeah,
So one of those things.
engineer.
Married to yourself.
Yeah, pretty much.
Did you have a commitment ceremony with yourself when
I
the
did. I put my hand through a ring, and my teacher put the ring on my hand, and then he said, "I do." You weren't there for that because I think you only came up for the actual graduation.
yeah, I wondered how you graduated. That makes a lot more sense now.
Yeah, I mean, it's how everyone up there graduates.
Uh,
Ridiculous classes. I didn't. Unlike some of us here, I didn't go to ASU where things were easy.
sure. Not all of us make good choices. That's fine.
Yeah, yeah, fair
I
enough.
totally accept that. I was the first of us. I'm also the oldest, but I was the first to graduate college.
Oh yeah, you also you had a 6 year lead on me.
I mean,
What
just
year?
saying.
What year was that? I don't remember.
When
Did you graduate?
I graduated in 2011.
Okay, and then I graduated 4 years later. Yeah, end of 2015.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, so how are you enjoying the quarantine?
Uh, I'm ready to get out.
Yeah.
Well, as you know, but I guess our few listeners may or may not know, I got laid off as a part of the COVID-19 shenanigans, right?
Right.
So would you
Uh,
only for a week though? I've only been unemployed for a week, and I now realize how much of my life revolved around work.
well,
Like
yeah, because that's all you do all day.
pretty much. I mean, it takes up a significant portion of your life. I used to sorry, that was like I was grabbing at a fly.
Yeah, I
That's,
I figured I knew what you were doing.
I mean, yeah,
Your house is
whatever.
filthy. Anyway, no, I'm
It's
kidding.
not a matter of the house
No,
being filthy. I have the back door open so the dogs can go in and out.
no. So you
Um,
got laid off. I actually got furloughed for a week. This week I've been furloughed. I'm back on for like another 3 weeks, and then I have another week off that they're making me take. I'm hoping by then all this will be over, and they'll be like, "No, you don't have to take that week off." But we'll see.
nah, I don't think any. I mean, they may be able to ensure that you have enough work coming in based on your contract, but no,
Yeah, they're doing enough to hopefully not lay people off, is what I've been hearing. Especially since I'm a contractor, I'd be the first to go if they started letting people go. So they're doing their best to not get rid of the people they just brought in, seeing how I've only been at this job for less than 2 months now. That'd be really unfortunate.
yeah. I mean, I think we'll get through it. All in all, like there's gonna this time's gonna really suck, and it's gonna be rough for a lot of us.
No,
But
I definitely by no means have the worst of it, so I can't
so
complain too much.
yeah, that's what I get. The company treated me as best as one you know, could
Best as
ask
they wanted
for.
to,
Well, no, I mean, I said they took care of us more better than some other places, right?
right?
So got severance, got some other benefits that they're covering for an extended period of time. Um, past our, our termination date. So
Right.
like it wasn't like I got brought into a meeting and they're like, today
Deuces.
you're done. You'll get your next paycheck. Good luck and Godspeed. Like that's not what took place, right? Like
If I could do the Vulcans like live long and prosper, I can't separate my fingers like that. I can't do it. Yeah, I can't do that. Like these, my ring and pinky won't go together. Like I can't separate them. It's
carpal
weird.
tunnel.
I need a rubber band. They just won't. Like that's the best I can do is just to separate it with my thumb.
All right. Well, listen, enough of that. This is the point of talk. There's all kinds of stuff about that going on in the world. We have a game for those who are listeners, for those who are bored, for those who are laid off, for those who are quarantined. A little entertainment, if you will, because it's not like you don't have plenty of time. I can see that. Word teasers.
Yeah. I think this game was given to me by my grandma, and it's very simple to play. I mean, on the box it says 4 easy to play rules. Draw a card from the box. I got a couple. Read the questions aloud. Let all players answer the question one at a time. See who has the funniest answer. So basically, I guess each card has like a it's not a turn of phrase. It's just like, tie the knot is one of them. Like they're just phrases and they're put them in the sentence into something we have to answer. And we'll just, see what we think about the phrase, and like it goes into the meetings and did you know and whatnot.
Sure. We'll definitely have to add some people. Like, I mean, this will be good. I think this is a good first run between you and me, but we'll definitely have to add some people for some added opinions and things.
Well,
the
double-edged sword of all this is that being in quarantine, no one wants to get near each other. The other edge of that sword is when we're not in quarantine, everyone's too busy.
Well, nobody needs to get near each other, right? Like we can do it with people that have other computers in other locations, or just sit in another room on another computer with a headset. Like that totally works.
Again, if everyone has all you don't even necessarily need the equipment, but at least a headset with a microphone or something.
Yeah, something simple like that.
Anyway, so you want to do the first one?
Sure, go for it.
All right, first one. But
no, so like you're gonna read the statement, and then what? And then what do we do exactly?
I guess just answer it.
Just answer it.
Yeah, and then then we can go more into the meeting, I guess. It says, what do you own that you wouldn't give away for all the tea in China?
What do I own that I wouldn't give away for all the tea in China?
Yep. I mean, do you know obviously the implied word, the phrase there being all the tea in China?
Yeah, no, it's a turn of phrase. I know what that is. Yeah, I wouldn't do that for all the tea, X or whatever, or wouldn't buy X for all the tea in China. I've heard it used before.
I don't know if I've heard that one.
I've heard it used in movies, and not necessarily. I don't think I've ever really had anybody say that to me per se.
I feel like it's not one you could really say nowadays.
I think you could, and people still get it, right?
So
what do I own that I wouldn't give up for all the tea in China? Charlie, my dog, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, after you have a 10-year bond with the dog, it's kind of hard just to get rid of it. Her. That's my bad.
Whatever.
I don't want to insult Charlie. She loves me. I know she does.
As long as you have food or treats, it's not that hard.
Yeah,
she 100% can be bought.
Oh, absolutely. I don't have much. I mean, I do enjoy tea. That's the thing. No. I travel.
China.
I travel so often. I mean, in the past 4 years, I've lived in 3 different states, and anything that I have has just been packed into my car, and things have gone. I've given things away. I've sold things and rebought them. I don't have anything that couldn't be rebought as of right now.
Well, here's an idea. Would you give up your beard for all the tea in China?
Depends on how much I could sell the tea for.
Depends on if they're having a party in Boston.
I've shaved all of this off before, and regretted it every time I did it, but it's a good like humility moment of, yeah, that's why I keep this. Anyway, all right, next one. Who is the bean counter in your family?
Bean counter. Me, probably. If anything,
Someone who puts enormous emphasis on the control of expenses.
I guess me.
Yeah,
Like,
that would, from stories I think I've heard.
I'd be the
You're less
closest.
to, yeah, you're the one that less splurges.
Yeah, I do, but I don't. Like you said, like, it's I don't spend frivolously, but at the same time, I'm not unwilling to like. I'm not completely unwilling to spend, right? Like vacations or to go do things, especially if I find value in it, right?
Yeah. I mean, if I was in a relationship, it would definitely be me. I try not to spend on things that, actually, you know what? I don't spend a lot on myself. If it's for other people, I'm usually a little more giving. But when it comes to me, I'll think 2-3 times before I end up getting it. And I told you earlier about the me selling my Wii U to finally put it forth towards a Wii Switch. And I was thinking about doing that like a year ago. I just never got around to it, and because I never felt like it was something that I really needed, but it is definitely something that I wanted. Finally did it. Hopefully, be getting that thing soon. But all right, what's the next one? Who do you know who's not playing with a full deck? I do like this one just because you and I are pretty decent card players, or avid card players.
Yeah,
Um,
avid is the better way to describe that.
who do you it's not even between me and you, just do you know, or do you want to explain the meaning first off?
Well, yeah, we're saying somebody who's dumb. Like, do we know somebody who's dumb? And yes, we
Yeah.
both do. We're related to her.
I'm curious who you're thinking of.
Brittany, duh. Come on, come on,
Oh,
come on.
related's a strong word.
Loosely. I'm
Listen,
using it loosely.
the meaning behind this is an interesting way of saying this. I mean, it's not interesting. It says used to refer to someone who is mentally challenged. That is what it says on the card.
I'm not saying that it's wrong, and
Oh no,
I stand by my
yeah,
statement.
yeah. Oh man, it's good. Did you know playing cards got their start in China? Well, yeah, everything freaking's made in China.
Well, they have a
History,
long-standing history. Yeah, a little
yes,
older than most.
yeah. I mean, you figure everything's been on the earth probably as long as everything else. That's the most of the recorded history is.
But speaking of that, as far as like, well, China and whatever, but as far as you know how like Genghis Khan basically conquered the known world and
Mm-hmm.
through Asia and into Europe, right? And how
Right.
there's a statistic, we could probably look it up for next time if we want to verify it, but there's a good percentage of the world's population has DNA from Genghis Khan because of the number of offspring that he basically produced throughout his conquest,
Oh
right?
yeah, all the pillaging. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
all the pillaging.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's
but
in the history books.
through my ancestry DNA test, I do not. I don't share any genetic markers with Genghis Khan. Meaning, so what that means is that my ancestry or my descendants were not conquered.
Fair enough. I have not done that. I just nothing else, because you're what more. I don't want to say Scandinavian. That's not right, is it? What was yours?
Uh, Mostly Italian. I mean, as far as well, we both should be mostly Italian. I probably
Right.
have a little bit more because obviously we have different mothers with that, but vast majority Italian, Western European, a little bit of uh, Irish
Yeah,
as
I
well.
know I'm mostly Italian, and according to I'm just taking my mom's word for it, is part French and Irish, which I burn
Well,
like one. So
you're Irish on dad's side regardless. So, and then we're both German on dad's side as well from grandma.
this should be an easy question.
Okay.
What topic is often a real hot potato between parents and kids? It's an obvious one. I've never actually heard someone say hot potato like that before, though.
Hot potato.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
A situation or issue that is difficult, unpleasant, or risky to deal with.
I mean, drugs are an obvious one. That's an easy
Yeah.
one, right?
Well,
But
yeah,
no,
the birds and the bees, another one. Yeah, drugs. Even sometimes, talking about your schoolwork can be hard to just deal with in general. Life questions, anything really.
yeah, pretty much. That's an interesting question.
What is something that might cause a bully to turn over a new leaf? That's an old one. That is definitely an old one.
Yeah, let's skip that one. That one's lame.
Um,
You don't, but
Looking at the
straight up,
origin,
what would make a bully turn over a new leaf is
getting his butt kicked.
yeah,
A
getting
stern
what have
talking
you.
to from his mother. That's gonna work.
Stern talking to with a wooden spoon.
Yeah, actually, I had a couple bullies growing up, and you know what stopped them from picking on me? I grew up faster than they did. they stayed 5'2", and I grew to 6'3". They went, "We're gonna start messing with him because he gets a hold of us. He's gonna kick our ass."
You mean they didn't make you carry around a stool so they could bully you?
Yeah, no, I don't think I was that gullible past 6th grade. Anyway. This is another old one. Is there ever a good reason to turn a blind eye to rudeness?
I mean, when your job is customer service, you always turn a blind eye to rudeness.
I don't know if that's a good reason.
I
That's
just,
just,
I
I
mean,
don't
do you
think
want
it's
to
a good.
keep your job?
It's
That's a good. I
it's
find that as a
yeah.
good reason to keep your job.
Um, yeah. That would be the only time. I'm sorry. Like if someone's being rude to you, if your job doesn't depend on it, then say something like this. Yeah. I don't know. According to legend, an admiral of the British Navy, was blind in one eye. Once during an attack on Danish ships, his superiors signaled for him to stop attacking, but he held a telescope up to the blind eye and said, "I don't see the signal." That's great.
That's well, mass slaughter, but okay.
That's a hilarious freaking reason. That reminds me of an old folk tale, and I am gonna butcher the heck out of the story. The story goes like either a captain or someone who commanded the ship like came down to the gallery after like a night of drinking, and he sat at a table where the light coming through the porthole was hitting him in his face. So he radioed up to the command deck and said alter course 5 degrees west or whatever. And the ship turned and the light went off his face, and he looks over at the guy in front of him, just winks, and goes back to eating his food. Like he altered course to get the light out of his face so he didn't have to move his seat. I don't know if it's true. I don't remember where it came from, but it was still a funny story.
I like that. That is pretty funny.
Oh, we know what the term from scratch means, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you rather start a business from scratch or work in an already successful company? That's actually good with the time right now because that's
Working
something you
in
and
a
I discussed.
what?
Would you rather start a business from scratch or work for an already successful company? You know what 90% of everyone else does.
90%. Honestly, at this point in my life, I'd rather start a company from scratch. Like, I get the appeal of working for an already successful company and what that safety and security brings, but like, but working for yourself like is I feel is a lot better. Like the people that I know that work for themselves seem to overall be happier, have the flexibility and balance, like work life balance. No matter what company, like they always say like, oh, we have great work life balance. Like, no, I'm sorry, if I'm working 40 plus hours a week, which most of us normally are, and then
Mhm.
they give you like a month's vacation throughout the entire year, that's not, you know what I mean? That's not work-life balance at all, really.
Yeah.
Um, so it's always it's always something that they took as a benefit, but not very many companies actually like execute it. There are companies, plenty of companies that I've worked for that have very liberal vacation policies, but at the same time, though, like you're still responsible to hit your numbers. You're still responsible for, you know what I mean, for reporting analytics. If you manage a team like I did, your team still has to perform, right? And if you're constantly out on vacation or leave or of any sort, right, that's not going to happen, right? You have to be there. You have to be involved. And like if you're, you know, constantly not present, that also means that you're not getting ahead either. So if you want to continue to advance, if you want to advance your career, you have to be there. You have to be experiencing the work, you know, taking on additional stuff. Like it's just
I've
it's a
had
nice gesture, but it's a gesture, right?
you know how every once or every like 3 months, 6 months, whatever, you have a sit down with your superiors and they're talking about what's been going on and what you've accomplished and so on and so forth. This has happened to me, and I know it's happened to others because people have told me about it. Is yeah, you're an hourly worker or salary. You're only supposed to be working 40 hours a week, or I mean, for hourly you get overtime, but salary that's the ideal is you're supposed to unless something needs to get done. But I've definitely had people or superiors ask me, why are you leaving right at 5? Because that's when my day is over. Well, why don't you stay a little longer? Am I late on anything? Well, no. Well, then why are you asking me this question? Like they want you. I've had multiple occasions from different companies, different people expecting you to work more for no reason. And I
What
mean, granted, yes, if things need to get done, sure. But again, if I had that conversation again, well, why aren't you staying longer than your normal 8 hour day? Because I finished it, and if I didn't finish it, it wasn't needed to get done for another week, so I had plenty of time to come in tomorrow and finish it then. Like there's no reason for it.
I mean, it's a combination of things, right? But at the same time, yeah, like that. If you're, I think that's a sign of poor leadership. We also like I think in general, like we have very poor leadership standards or teachings of how to judge and as a leader how to rate your people, right? I think it takes a talent and a skill and experience, right, to understand and learn, like as a leader, that hey, just because they're not if they're efficient with their work, yeah, they can go ahead and leave at their 40 hours, right? If they're sitting there saying that, hey, I want to advance, then yeah, maybe like they should be staying over to do extra stuff, to do a little bit more as you work, as you do gain that
If
additional experience to move on to that next level. But if they're proficient person and they're happy with their current level in their current position, then there's no reason why they need to be staying extra, right?
Yeah, if you're just following the curve, then fine. Yeah, then they're just doing fine. But if they're still doing, if to the point that they want to advance, they are doing a little extra still within that time, I don't think there's any reason why staying for more time is the example of them doing better. It should be the quality, the quantity, or a good mixture of them both, not just one or the other.
Oh yeah, that's what I always say. It's a false indicator, and I said that indicator is used by poor leadership. Well, you have poor leadership skills if you can't recognize the talents and understand what's going on if with your individuals. Like if that's fine if they're not hitting their, he said, if they're not hitting their deadlines or and still not staying, but if they're hitting their deadlines and they're satisfied with where they're at, then that's not an like the staying late isn't an indication that they're not a solid employee, right?
The next question actually goes along with what we were talking about, which is, do you always get recognized for the fruits of your labor? Yeah, it's literally the next one. I couldn't believe that.
Not always. Like, you
Oh
fully
yeah,
admit to
definitely
that.
not
Like,
always.
well, because I always love that. Like that's a question I get that I've seen it in interviews and I've seen it with other like as I get new managers stuff like that are like, oh, or in assessments, right? Do you go above and beyond, right? I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, well, what is above and beyond? If I just take care of it and just do it, right?
Right.
That turns into the status quo. So what I've actually noticed is like going above and beyond. Like going above and beyond requires you to actually like advertise that you're going above and beyond, right? To really advocate for yourself, because when you just take care of what needs to be taken care of, regardless if it's your job or not, nobody is going to sit there and actually call that. Nobody calls that out, right? But if you advocate for yourself and really display that, hey, like I'm stepping out of this to get X, Y, and Z done, and and therefore we achieve goal or did extra or whatever the case may be, that's when people are like, oh yeah, they always go above and beyond. But if you quietly, I guess if you quietly just take care of it and just get it done, it's hardly ever recognized, right?
Yeah. Well, there was another saying, and I mainly know it from Futurama, even though I've heard it in other places. It's like when you've done something right, others won't notice won't notice that you've done anything at all. Like the only people only notice when you've done something really wrong versus doing what you're supposed to do. It's just the norm.
That reminds me of there's a thing. It's out there. I'm sure you've seen it on social media, but like it talks about a school teacher, how like she's teaching her class, like middle school class, whatever, and they're doing multiplication tables, and she goes through and does like 10 of them, right, and goes down the line, and like on number 6 or 7, she makes a mistake and then goes through. The whole class starts laughing and all that other stuff, and kind of saying, they're like, well, she goes, what's so funny? And they're like, well, you made a mistake on number 6. She goes, okay, well, you notice that all you did was point out the one mistake I made, not the 90% of the rest of it that I did 100 that I did correctly, right? And that's and it's a valid point, right? Like we focus in on the one thing that went wrong, not the high level of quality. Technically, that's a high level of quality. A 90% success rate is still, a really good success rate. But
Right.
the one thing that's wrong is what everybody hones in on, and that's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, right?
It is unfortunate. It definitely doesn't apply to everyone, but it does happen more often than not.
Yeah.
All right, you want to do one more?
One more. All right.
All right. This is a good one because actually I looked at the meaning because I think I've heard the term, but I definitely didn't fully understand its meaning. Who do you know who is the salt of the earth? You know the meaning.
Yeah, I know what the salt of the earth is. It's just like a real down to earth, like grounded person. Not
Not totally.
whoa. Or you mean like they're like like country bumpkin? Is that what we're saying? No, okay, then I'm way off then.
The salt of the earth meaning a good and honest person, someone who is totally reliable and trustworthy.
Oh, definitely me.
Definitely. For the most part, yeah. I'll give you the 90% success rate.
90% success rate. When am I ever not reliable or trustworthy?
I'm gonna go with calling me back sometimes.
Oh no, that's just because I don't want to.
Yeah,
that's what I just do.
But when you say you're going to, that's the untrustworthy, unhonest part of it.
No, but like, wait. I said, when I'll call you back eventually. Like I'll eventually call you back.
Oh yeah, you'll eventually do the dishes when you feel like it. 2 days later. That's I never understood your meaning behind that. Because we lived together for a long time, and there was a couple of times where again, this is only relying to the dish thing, was like you would say, oh yeah, I'll get to them eventually, and it'd be like 2 days later, like, okay, well, they're still not done. Well, yeah, I'll get to them. Like, okay, well, get to them. Like, it's ridiculous. Any idea where this saying came from?
No.
Not even a guess?
No. Maybe the salt mines?
Yeah, the phrase "the salt of the earth" comes from Bible Matthew 5:13, King James Version, where Jesus, speaking to his disciples in the Sermon of the Mount, says, "Ye are the salt of the earth. Ye are the light of the world."
All right then.
Yeah, we learned something new.
All right, so let's. I think we should. So we're on that note. I think we need a guest for next time. So is Dad still around? I know he traveled this week.
Yeah, he traveled literally to Vegas and back in the course of a few hours. I mean, he's healthy. He's here. If you heard anything in my background, that was him putting away groceries. So yeah, he's around.
All right, so maybe we'll have to bring him on. I know PD wanted to come on, but with his flight schedule, he's a little all over the place. So we'll see when his next day off is and where he's not flying and he's available.
Well, speaking of PD, would you say what he did was turning a new leaf?
No.
No, you don't think so?
No.
That's not a good example.
I would say that's not a good example. He's just making a life change. I mean, he's not
Yeah.
making a life change. He's not turning over a new leaf. It means almost like I would feel like it's almost like a 180, right? Like you're like this in the
because
bully
turning a new leaf is more like going from good to bad or bad to good or whatever, or
kind
usually
of.
from bad to good.
Well, also like or you get rid of a bad habit. Those types of things of like you quit smoking. That's like turning over a new leaf, or like or life of crime.
Well,
Yeah,
and
you.
actually, for the meaning of turning, it just says to start over, to make a fresh start, to change one's behavior or actions. I think that applies. I would
No,
argue that applies.
I'd argue. Nah, I don't.
I
For
would
Pete, how
argue
so?
that it's not how we've used it, but I mean, just from one definition of to start over, he completely got rid of everything to try something new. So I would say he turned a new leaf. It's because that's how I viewed it. I mean, I never really. I think for the most part, I definitely used it for changing one's full behavior to something new. But I mean, it's basically getting a new look on, well, if say the leaf was life, you're getting a new look on life.
All right, fair. All right, you want to take us
It's out.
out? Yeah.
I brought us in.
All right. So this has been the Bald and the Beardiful. Like us on YouTube here. Subscribe. Click the notification bell. Smash the like button. Find us on Facebook. Write us. We're lonely. We're definitely lonely, especially now that we're.
Yeah.
We say quarantine,
Chris's
but we're not
wife
really
won't
in a
let me
quarantine.
see him in person.
That's
This is
true.
ridiculous.
That's true. She doesn't. She only lets me out of the house when I'm running errands for her.
Not for yourself, just for her.
If you have any suggestions, I said email us, DM us. We appreciate any input.
Again, the
Comments,
games you want us to play, let us know.
games. Nothing strip, especially since it's only from the waist up, so it'll be an extremely short game.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, I don't know, I've been pantless this entire time.
I mean, previously I would never wear pants. Like on our previous episodes, pants were always optional. Maybe we should have a pants party where we wear pants and we show off our pants. We could do that.
We need a show and tell of pants.
Show and tell of pants. All right, until next time.
Have a good time. Have a good day, guys.
Same bald channel, same beard station, something like that.